Hello, everybody. My name is Zion from Arbor Records, and I'm here with Cam. Cam, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
So my name is Cameron Morgan. I attend Cass Tech High School and I'm a producer and jazz pianist. So I usually play anywhere from gospel to R&B to hip hop. I do it all. I play live and I produce live. That's a little bit about me.
So, how did you get interested in music, and why did it become important to you?
So I became interested in music. Well, really, I put it like this. It was at a young age, and at a young age, you interested in everything. You're trying to get in everything you can get into. And at the time, it started from church because I was seeing church musicians play all the time. And I'm like, man, that's so cool. And I started hanging around some of them and stuff. And I started picking it up that way, going on YouTube, trying to get my ear good, and then just learning off of YouTube, picking it up and putting it into my arsenal.
That's cool. So, but what specifically made you want to be a producer? Was it just playing in the church? Was what made you want to be a producer?
Really, I just wanted to create my own stuff because I was having ideas, and at the time, because I was so young, I didn't know how you go about doing all of that. But where I am now, I know how to do all of that stuff. And I'm like, I can finally create my own beats, my own music, and all of that. That's how I got into it, though. Just wanting to create my own stuff.
Got you. So, what would you describe as your music taste? What would you say is true to you, and why?
That's a good question. I would say diverse because I could do different styles of music from a producing standpoint and playing. So I would say diverse, spicy, sweet, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I remember specifically. I had met you that you were playing jazz and blues in an auditorium, and
Yeah.
Cam is a very talented pianist.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what would you define? What would you say is your home, and how has your home influenced your music?
So in my home, surprisingly, none of them are like musically inclined. So no, really, I have a couple family members. One of them produces. I don't even think he does it anymore. And on the other side of my family, none of them even play an instrument. Some of them rap, but don't even play an instrument. So really, you could just say it came from nowhere. That's what you could say because home wise, nobody plays, nobody sings, nobody even knows anything about music.
That's interesting. Would you say that Detroit in any way has influenced your music?
From the gospel side of things, yes, because when I was growing up, I used to hear the Clark sisters. They're from Detroit. There's a couple of other artists, Fred Hammond, Marvin Sapp. Well, really, I'll just say Michigan because he's from a different city in Michigan. But on the gospel side of things, and really, actually, musically, they're who influenced me. So my hometown does play a role in that.
Got you. What's one of your like? What would you say is your favorite gospel musician to listen to?
Man, I got a lot, but for now, I'll just say if you a gospel musician, anybody else that's gonna be listening to this in the future, you heard of people like Mike Burrell. That's just one out name. That's who I listen to, and he influences my playing. Every time I hear him play, I'm just like, man, I take that and I take it and do what I can with it.
Yeah, most definitely. So who is an artist or a producer that you would like to work with in the future?
So can it be main? It has to be mainstream, or it could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
I'd say Zaytoven.
Excuse me?
Zaytoven.
And why that?
Because like me, he grew up in the church and he has a very churchy background. He also plays piano. I was listening to a video of him making beats, and the dude he was playing like church stuff over his beats, man. So I'm just like, that's interesting. So musically, by our backgrounds, we relate.
Got you. Who's a musician or artist you think we should listen to other than yourself?
Um, Really, I would just say everybody because you could take something different from everybody that you listen to. Even if you think their music may sound corny or is awesome, you could still take something from almost everything you listen to grow yourself. So I just say everybody. You know, I can't pinpoint just one specific artist, in my opinion.
God, do you have a specific takeaway that you want people to have when they listen to your music?
Really, I just want people to come to my music with an open mind because, as I said, I can do it all. So you may hear jazz over here, come over to the next recording, is a straight up hand clapping, foot stumping gospel song. So I just want people to have an open ear coming to my music.
Did you start off playing just watching other musicians in your church? Did you sit next to them? Like what actually got you started? Did you have a piano in your house? Like
So I did actually have a piano in my house. It was in the attic and nobody used it. It was actually a little keyboard, a little small like Casio keyboard. I took it out the attic and started banging on it to try to make something work. And then as time went on with that, I was in church hearing musicians play, sounding, very professional and polished. And I started to pick up on a couple things I heard from them. And then, a couple years from there, the musician who's at my church now, he told me, just go on and hop on the piano, and try to do something. And that came a long way to where I am now. So all that experience built me into the person I am now.
so essentially you're saying you just learned by ear?
That's right.
Wow. So what would you say is the importance, considering that you're not just a producer, but you're sort of a musician in your own right, that especially playing jazz is complicated. So I'm assuming that you know how to read complex music and stuff like that. What would you say is the importance in knowing how to hear and analyze music versus knowing how to read music? Do you get what I'm saying? Like knowing how to listen and play versus knowing how to read. Because I know a lot of church musicians who only know how to read and they never learn how to they only know how to play by ear and they don't know how to read. So like what are your thoughts and your perspective on that and how does that relate to your production?
So the funny thing is, I can play based off of my ear, but I really can't read that well. I can read, so I'll give you an example. I used to play saxophone a long time ago. I could read that music top to bottom because it's only one note. But coming over to piano, you got five fingers and you could be doing a whole bunch of things. If you look at piano sheet music, take some time out, look at some piano sheet music, you're gonna look at it, you're gonna be like, what is this? And then when it comes down to playing with your ear, if you're not used to, following music off of your ear, you're gonna be like, what is that chord? And you're gonna be trying to find music charts to find that chord, especially if it's something you've never heard before. So what I can just say is two things. You have to do your research on the music, and also practice with your ears. If you do both, you can strengthen the other. That's that's what I believe.
Where can people find your music?
I haven't put any out just yet, but I have some clips of me playing the piano on Instagram. So my Instagram is underscore Cyberkeys.
And do you have any other social media accounts?
I have others, but they're for personal use. Yeah, yeah.
I like the way you answered that question.
What
Okay.
you got to
What are
do?
your like where do you see yourself um where do you see yourself in the future going with
Um,
this? Do you want to learn any more instruments or like do you want to produce as like your sole purpose in life? Like where do you see yourself going in the future?
so really, well, I answer this from a musician standpoint and being an adult, a future adult. As a musician, I want to be able to produce, use that as one of my sources of income and be able to produce and play music live for different artists, just put myself out there. As an adult, I would want to be able to, how do I put this? Have multiple streams of income and try to monetize my music to the biggest way possible. So I want to be able to teach people if I can, show people how to put sounds together, so show people how to produce, but also be able to, produce for big artists, play on the big stage, and things like that. Because music really is my passion. That's the first thing I want to do after I leave high school.
Well, thank you. Do you have any specific gospel songs or any specific songs that you're really listening to now?
No, but I could give you another one that has influenced my playing for anybody else listening to this. Listen to I think is he saw the best in me by Marvin Sapp. If you listen,
Marvin Sapp.
yeah, if you listen to that piano recording, it could help change your playing.
Yeah, I actually, that's funny you said that. I was listening to that recently and I was like, this pianist is really going off and he's not getting the accolades that he deserves. Like,
Oh yeah,
especially like when the song ends right before they started back up again, his scales and everything is like on another level. So,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So, well, thank you, Cam. Have a blessed day.
Hmm.
Underscore Cyberkeys. I can't emphasize this enough. I think he was downplaying himself. He's a really great pianist and musician,
Thank
and
you, thank
his
you.
page is full of just beautiful melodies and songs. So I think you guys should check that out. And yeah, thank you.
Oh, anytime, anytime, anytime.